Hello, welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast. My name is Mirella,
And I'm Zoe.
And I'm Cass.
and today we're going to have another episode of Potential Obsessions. We're going to react to the trailer of Not Me. Has
I
anyone heard about this? I don't know this.
don't know. It's this new show. I'm so
Yeah,
excited. Afghan.
I know nothing. Who's Afghan?
Well, it's funny though because that was kind of like you back then, wasn't it? A little bit.
A little bit. I had no Twitter account. I had no connection to the, BL world. I tried several BLs, but I think I dropped after 1, 2 episodes because nothing really.
It was interesting, yeah.
I was expecting this to happen with this series as well, but oh god, was I wrong? Oh god.
It's so funny because you mentioned not having any socials or anything. I did. I had like my Twitter account, which had been my writing account / then turned into my, K-pop account, and then I had a Tumblr that I had abandoned years ago and things like that. But I had been watching BL, as I said, for a really long time. Probably like for as long as they've been making them, I've been watching them. I feel very old right now. But I had been watching them in a way that like you just consume media when it's like it comes you're bored. Like some of them I would watch because I would go, oh, this looks interesting, and then others I would just be like, there's nothing else on. What's this thon type thing? What the hell is a thon type? And then either be somewhat interested or absolutely horrified depending on and I discovered that sponge baths in Thai BLs are a great drinking game. And so I had liked Offgun. Like I knew who Offgun were. I had watched their previous shows and stuff like that. I remember seeing the pilot trailer for Not Me, and was like really excited about it because I was like, wow, this looks really different. It's way more adult than anything else I'd seen them do. But I really wasn't like, I knew a little bit about like Offgun themselves and stuff because my mum was probably paid a little bit more attention to the actors and stuff like that. But I didn't really care. Like I just was watching a TV show, you know what I mean? And then COVID happened. And there was a delay before it aired and everything. And I remember when they released the actual trailer for it, I was so excited. And suddenly I was like, and because with Not Me, they filmed it like it was still being filmed when it started airing. So it was really interesting. So you would have like the episodes would be airing, and like Offgun or like Pinucci or someone would be posting behind the scene clips like on on Instagram and stuff like that from or they would be doing live streams from the set and stuff like that. So suddenly it was like, wow, this because you wanting to know what was going to happen, what was going on or whatever. Well, at least I did, because I was like, I felt so alone when I started watching this show. I had no one to talk to. And I it was one of those things where I started just like devouring all the media I could get my hands on, and then suddenly I created a Not Me Twitter account because, as I said, I needed to talk to somebody. I was too shy to actually approach anybody, so instead I just lurked like a crazy person until I eventually could not shut up and I actually had to do posts. But it was such a weird thing for me because I had never actually gotten that invested, and I totally blame Not Me for my Twitter account, for my BL Twitter account.
What
And
about you, Cass?
the wonderful
Oh,
roller coaster I've been on.
what about you,
I'm
Cass?
pretty sure it's my third show. I think I went Bad Buddy, Until We Meet Again, Not Me. And I really loved Not Me a lot. But now I'm so curious to watch it because you two have given me a lot of off-gun feelings. And I now watch media so much differently. I really do unpack it and look for like themes and try to pick out little details that are going to be important later. And I do feel like this show is going to reward that. And I think it's going to be really fun to listen to you both with how much you love the show and know it's going to turn out well. Talk about it each week.
I think
So,
the thing with Not Me, we like so we're gonna do Not Me. We're gonna do Not Me. The thing with when we were talking about the first episode, which we
Oh,
have
by the way,
already recorded.
we need to announce because we haven't announced. Like this is when we are
Oh, we
announcing.
did. That's true. Because
What do you
okay,
think?
hang on. Scratch that bit. Cass, because I feel like Cass didn't realize that we've actually recorded these reactions out of order, but this was actually where we're going to announce that we're doing Not Me. So Cass let that out the back. By the way, guys, we're doing Not Me. And we have actually already recorded the first episode, and it was interesting because there was a couple of moments where when I watched it the first time, I reacted to it as a fan of previous off-gun shows. So I had it like I knew of their chemistry and their acting ability, and I was super excited to see them interact and stuff. And I was curious to see like how Morella reacted to some scenes that I had reacted to, because I definitely reacted to them as kind of like a somewhat super fan at that stage. And I was like, did you have a similar reaction, or is it just because I was a crazy person when I was watching it? So we had an interesting conversation about that as well. So I still think that Not Me holds up. I feel like we've had some really good, since Not Me, we have had some really good BLs. And it's not to say that like before Not Me there weren't other BLs that were good, because they definitely were. I am terrible with names, as everybody knows, but Manner of Death is another good sort of adult type one. So I mean, yeah, I kind of wish they'd make more serious
the
drama
Manner of
ones.
Death others.
Yeah, well, I'm bad. I can't think of things. But obviously, since then, we've had like things like Dangerous Romance, and like there's been some really, really good ones. But there's always, I feel like even with most really good ones, there's always something that lets you down. And I'm gonna try and be critical with this when we redo it. But I know there were a couple of things I didn't like, but they were like personal preference things, that they weren't necessarily things I thought they did bad. Cass, we were talking about the music in Not Me. Did you like the music in Not Me when you watched it?
I did. I think I have the playlist downloaded still.
Yeah, the music in Not Me is amazing. So everybody should check that out. They should check the show out too if they haven't, but like check the show out and then listen to us talk about it on Thursdays and Saturdays.
There's a lot of us who really love like action and genuine danger and like the threat that people could actually, like serious consequences, like someone could die, does kind of really elevate the stakes, and it adds conflict to relationships. That's not, I don't mean like fighting each other conflict, although that
no, but yeah,
not me. It adds stakes that aren't just like misunderstandings or like I'm blanking on the words, but you can put wedges between characters in creative ways that don't have to do with their emotions or their feelings, which is always a nice alternate way to separate pairs.
Yeah, it's funny because we were talking about we had a conversation about how Pinichi was really good with filming Not Me, in that she was clever with the direction and the way things were shot and stuff like that. That some scenes, even though like nothing really like dramatic was happening, they had this like sense of urgency to them anyway, that like built up the tension, so that by the time the thing that actually was going to happen, you were already sort of like on the edge of your seat with it a little bit. So I wish there was more of these kinds of dramas and stuff like that. I mean, even things like Kim Porsche, like I know like not everybody loved Kim Porsche, but I liked the idea that that was like you said, like an action kind of show. So it's just something different from the high school university ones that there is so many of, and some of them are really good, but they seem to be a dime a dozen, unfortunately. And the actors who filmed those are now like older and still making dramas, and I like give me a married gay couple trying to adopt a kid or something, or surrogacy, or like or like you said, like a murder mystery serial killer, like whatever, like I'm down for it, let's do it. So and Not Me had something to say, which was really cool.
So let's go watch the trailer.
Yes, because Cass, you haven't seen the trailer, I think you said, you think you're not sure if you have.
I didn't think I had, but I also didn't think I had, vice versa, and I had, so
all right, cool. Well, let's go check out the trailer and then we'll come back and talk about it. Okay, so I think before we start, the most important question is, Cass, why are you crying?
I started crying 30 seconds in and cried the entire trailer. And then I watched it a second time and kept crying. It was like, oh my God, I missed you so much.
Yes! Oh my God, the nostalgia that this trailer like invoked in me. And it's funny because we were just talking about the music. And the music kicked in, and I just went, "Oh my God, yes!" Like I was having an orgasm. I was like, "This is amazing," and it was just the music, the music coming and swelling into it. I was like, you know, my reaction to pretty much any off-gun drama is that off-jumper always makes me cry, and this was no exception. And of course, they had the scene where he's like confronting Tawi and stuff, and I was just like, "It's gonna happen again. I'm gonna cry again over off."
I remembered something that I thought from when I watched the trailer for the first time. I will remember thinking, are they sure this has some BL romance thing going on? Because so much stuff is going on, which looks so interesting, and that I'm not even that curious to see the people falling in love or anything like this.
It's like, yeah, when's the romance gonna happen?
I'm the opposite. I thought the trailer had more romance than I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the romance too, but then as I said, that's at this point when I watched the trailer for this, I had watched every incarnation of Off Gun, like every universe of Off Gun so far. So I knew there would be some romance.
I thought it was really interesting having like seen the show now. Moments that would definitely not be romantic, I found really romantic. Like when White flinches when Sean goes to hit him, it gets me every single time. And if you showed it to me without knowing anything about the show, it would objectively look like a pretty horrible moment. But because I know like what it reveals of White's character and how different he is from Black, I love that scene.
Well, but it is like we talked about this. We will talk about this scene in the podcast for the first episode, and we talked quite a bit about that scene because I feel like a lot is revealed in that scene, and you don't necessarily realize it till later on. Like there was one of the things that happened with Not Me. I had the same sort of reaction to something I was seeing online. That happened during Dangerous Romance. Like people were, you know, had commentary on things that I did not agree with. And then I remember with Not Me, and this is for people who haven't seen Not Me, this is sort of a semi spoiler, but not really. I'm gonna talk around it. But in the scene, like in the episode where you start to like it becomes very obvious that there are feelings happening. I remember people were like really surprised. They were like, "Oh, like suddenly now they have feelings." I'm like, "Have you been watching a different show?" Like it's the build up is there from the very first moment. The fact that that Sean reacts to White in such a way is because he isn't Black. Like there is all these things, these facets to White's character, to his personality that just like both rub Sean the wrong way, but also intrigue him so much, you know, and that's just from his perspective. And so like, and this happens like the very first time they meet, the bit with the flinch that you're talking about, like it's, you see in that scene, the way they both react to each other, like that is the start of it. And you do like, even for the rest of that episode, while there's a lot of other stuff happening, your focus is pulled to them. You're way more aware of them than you are necessarily the other characters suddenly because they're so aware of each other.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a moment from when White joins that they're not like utterly enthralled by each other. There's just a lot of other things happening that maybe outshine it sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
I think this trailer is so well done. It looks cool and dynamic, and it's dark and mysterious. It sets up a lot of things, and you're just left wondering and wanting more.
Especially considering, and I never really realized this until this watch through, is they not actually really in the trailer. They don't actually really tell you the seriousness of what's actually happening in the show, like what the show is actually about. Like, you know, you see that, you know, that clearly there's a villain who did bad stuff to the characters and things like that, but you don't, the way it is actually structured in the show and the messages that get delivered and the way that the show educates you about like Thailand and its politics and stuff like that, like none of that is really actually kind of hinted at in the trailer, which is fascinating to me too, because it's the majority part of the show. But yeah, so I think that's really cool as well. I will confess, I totally watched the pilot trailer earlier today because I was looking for the trailer and I was like, oh, the pilot trailer. And I remember, like, obviously, as I said, I watched it when it first got released. And I remember thinking, wow, this is so different. This is really cool. And even right up until when they released the trailer for this, there were certain things that got changed in it. And I was, like, disappointed about initially. And then, like, as soon as I started watching the show, I had forgotten I was like, pilot trailer, what? I just watched it today. And there are some things in it that now I find absolutely hilarious. And, like, obviously I was not meant to find them hilarious, but I do now. So, like, you know, it's just like Dan beating White up. Like, why was the cop beating up the kid? Like, I don't know.
I remember getting so confused by the pilot trailer. I accidentally discovered it on IMDb.
Yeah,
they had the pilot trailer attached instead of the official trailer. But I didn't know about this whole thing about the J-Man thing of posting, Thai BL thing of having a pilot trailer and then official trailer. And so I was like, what the hell is this? What is this? Like, is this from a parallel world? I didn't know about
is that, well, because
this.
did you see the pilot trailer after you'd seen the show already?
I saw the trailer, I watched the episodes, and then I wanted to rate it. I wanted to see what people say about it. And when I went on IMDb, and instead of having the official trailer, they had the pilot trailer. I don't know if it's the same right now, but I was so confused.
No, that's so funny. It's funny too because I remember when the pilot trailer came out and everyone kept talking about, there's this one, I don't know why I'm talking about this because we don't react to the pilot trailer, but anyway, you should look up the pilot trailer because it's fun for shits and giggles, people. But there's a scene in it like that people used to talk about all the time about like Offengun or like Sean and White or whatever, but it's actually not even off. It's actually Mond. It's Graham and White because it's like a motorcycle scene, but Mond's character is like so beaten up in that people, and at the beginning of the pilot trailer you have a scene of Sean and White, and Sean is like super beaten up, and so like no one ever really noticed until I think it had been out for about a month or two or something, and then suddenly went, oh no, that's actually Mond. So, but yeah.
Because in the book they're supposed to be a couple, right? Black and
Graham, yeah. Black and Graham are a couple. Yeah.
What?
Did you not know that?
No.
Oh, I forget because you're not on Twitter as well. There was so much discourse when this aired.
It's not important because the book is just a completely different story that has nothing to do with the series.
Basically, Pinucci kept the twins and Sean's names and the fact that they were twins and a coma, and that's it. Everything else is different. But in the book, Graham and Black were like a couple, like a secret couple, I think. And so when they didn't become a secret couple, there was like drama on Twitter. It was like it was interesting to watch it unfurl. So, and of course that's why, do you remember in episode 1 you get introduced to like Black's apartment and everything, and there are the little dinosaur figurines?
Yeah.
And it has like, the one has like a B on it and the other one has like a G on it. Do you remember, Cass?
And isn't it for Eugene instead of Graham or something like that?
Yeah, except you totally just spoiled for anyone who's listening.
Where were you going with that?
I mean, we just spoiled the fact that they're not a couple, so might as well.
That's right. I'll just post a spoiler alert in the episode notes. But yeah, like, so of course everybody was like, people who were like down for the whole Graham black thing were convinced that that was for them, and so it was so funny to see it unfold. It's funny too because there was, as I said, there was a lot of discourse, and then there was a lot of discourse because people were like, you know, oh well, no, they're not going to put Gunn with another character because this is an off-Gunn show or whatever. But I don't know. I have a Todd Black gremlin, and it is heavily implied that Todd had a thing for Black. I'm sorry, it just is. They went there. Even Singh was like, "Yep, he's mine." during one of the lives for Not Me, he said something to Off like, "You can have white and I'll take black," and Off was like, "Doesn't Black die in the end?"
Yeah.
Wait, he doesn't, does he?
No.
Thank you.
Or maybe he does.
You'll never know unless you listen to the podcast. But yeah, no, it was just so funny. there's lots of like fun things that happen in the show that, you know, I wasn't expecting as well. Like, I feel like besides it having a really good message and everything, Pinichi did a really good job of like pulling everything out of these guys. So, which is why they're like now making really cute dramas, because they said they needed a break from like the stress.
I really liked how many characters they were able to show in the span of the trailer. I think this is one where lots of different pairs and lots of different characters as individuals really shine, not just Shaun White. And so, like, every time someone new popped up, especially Yak and Goomba, I was so excited to see them again and just missing them.
Marilla and I talk about quite often when we do reactions to shows that sometimes we get confused because there's like either too many characters, or they're like introducing them in a way that's like they expect us to know who they are, because like maybe they're expecting us to have read the book the story is based on, or like whatever. I don't know, like we feel like sometimes it's lost in translation. But you're right, they did introduce these characters in a, like, they told you who everyone was. This is this person, this is this person, this is this person.
Yeah, and beside that, they are very distinct. They feel like real people who have
different.
very different traits.
Yeah, they have, and like, yeah, they're different traits, even though like their majority of them are from the same socioeconomic as well. They're like their backstories are very different.
Yeah, so this show has amazing characters. Even if you don't like them, if you don't agree with what they're doing, they're still impressive, and it's interesting to talk about them.
Yeah, I agree with that. As I said, there's some bits and pieces that I like. I would have done this differently, or I would have done that differently. But that's like a me thing. That's like just like I wanted to see it. That's like me and Metha and Sam C. Kes, you won't get that because you haven't watched Cooking Crush yet.
Wow, throw me under the bus.
I said yet.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's I feel like, as I said, like Off always makes me cry, but like we got another great scene from this show as well, of like Gunn fighting himself. I know you'll appreciate that, Kes, because I know you've just been watching The Gifted.
Yes.
And there's
what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. There's like an award-winning scene in that one where he like was fighting himself. So yeah, they did that, like most of their own stunts and everything in this as well, which was kind of cool too. So, but I had so much fun watching this trailer just now because it filled me with like so much. It's so funny that Cass, that you cried, because I was like, I had the creepy grin going again. I was so happy. I was just like so excited and just so like I don't even know what to do with myself right now. Like I'm so excited for doing this podcast for Not Me.
I was so distracted, and it just I could not make any notes. I just kept watching me like.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's something happened and I made a weird noise and I don't remember what it was now, but it was embarrassing. But It's so funny because in the chat today I saw something either you said or you wrote, Cass, about how in Dangerous Romance I kept calling Sophia Gumpa for like half the podcast because I couldn't remember his name. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you know what? It doesn't matter how many shows that I think it's Pipang is in, he is always gonna be Goomba to me.
That's kind of sad.
No, but he did such a good job. I loved him.
I'm ready for him in Kidnap. I think he's gonna.
Yes, I'm so interested, and it's not to say that like he's not a great actor, and he didn't like. I loved him as Sci-Fi as well, but I'm just saying like I will always remember who he is because of Goomba. Like that is like he's like, you know, that's the thing that makes me remember him.
What if he's paired with Baby Ohm in that show? It would be such a weird worlds collide from Twilight.
It does kind of seem like in the trailer.
God.
In the trailer for Kidnap, in the pilot trailer, that kind of like seemed to be angling it that way. Like that was the impression I got. It's funny because Marilla and I were like just recently talking about how we should react to the pilot trailer of Kidnap, and then I was like, yeah, actually, we already did that. So I feel like this is one that we want to watch because we're like wanting to watch the pilot trailer again. I'm so surprised that they haven't started putting out more trailers. Like there's some weird delay thing going on at the moment with shows because we haven't the out of all of the shows that we got advertised, like how many of them have actually aired?
I feel like maybe they're just trying to figure out how they're going to, where they're going to post them, how they're going to air. Maybe they're trying to strike deals with.
I wish they would just put them on YouTube on GMM and just stop messing with them. But that's just a personal opinion. It just makes it complicated. It's a bit of a mess, but yeah, because I'm just trying to think. Like, out of all the ones that they released, the pilot we've already seen. Because I mean, the second lot of pilot things coming up soon, I think, isn't it? Supposedly March, April, for the second half of the year. And we're already March, and I don't know how many shows we've actually seen of it because I don't think we've seen any. Like there's the ones that I was interested in, we haven't heard hi nor hair of. So, and I know at least half of them have already been filmed. So it's very interesting to me. Then I think there's been a lot of refilms for things too as well. So I guess we don't really know what's happening in behind the scenes stuff. I'm so excited for this rewatch though. Like as I said, we've recorded the first podcast for the first episode, and when it ended last night, I really just wanted to watch episode 2. I had to restrain myself and be like, no, you can wait. You've done it before. You've watched this show one episode at a time. It was the most torturous experience of my life.
When will episode 1 come out? So if people want to start their rewatch, when do they have until?
So the first episode for Not Me episode 1 will be released on, now you're asking me the question, let me have a look at the calendar.
It's going to be next Thursday.
No, it's not. It's going to be the 14th.
Well, isn't that a Thursday?
It is, but next Thursday is the 7th. This is going to be released on the 7th.
This is why it's like if people are listening to it and it's being released on a Thursday. Okay, just.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
Okay, but like just for shits and giggles, so people have an actual date, it'll be on the 14th of March. Will be part 1, and then part 2 will be released on the 16th.
Yeah, and then we're going to have a week break.
Yep.
Because we have another secret project. So we're going to alternate 1 week the secret project, 1 week not me, 1 week secret project, 1 week not me.
Yeah. And if you want to know what the secret project is, if you listen to the podcast on the 9th of March, you'll know what it is because we'll tell you then.
Yes. So I guess this is it.
I think so, unless Kes has something else she wants to tell us.
I think my only other note that I didn't say out loud was I was really surprised at the level of like violence in the trailer, not in a bad way, but they really didn't, no pun intended, pull their punches with it. Like they really showed what you were going to get into if you watched it, with like smoke bombs going off and people getting knocked out cold and people getting totally beaten up. So to the point from earlier, you could tell how that sort of set a marked new direction for shows. And it did make me crave more shows like this in the future.
It did. And this was like, I will say, when I first saw the pilot trailer and then when I saw this trailer, I was really surprised. And this was before knowing like where this show was going to go, like with the politics and all the rest of it. I was so surprised that GMM was making this show. I was like, it was so different. Not only was it so different from anything else in the industry and that had been done really, but GMM had not done anything like this. It was so different. And it was like, and that made it really interesting as well. You know what I mean? Without even really knowing exactly what you were getting, it was because it was so different. And it was, you know, I mean, for me, it was a pairing that interests me as well. So I was like, wow, okay, I know they're really good. I know that, you know, this idea of, and this is, they've tried to do it a couple of times since Not Me, and that this idea of like one person playing two brothers or twins or whatever. And I don't think anybody has mastered it the way Gunn did. Like, I knew that he would pull it off. Like, I knew that he had the capability to make me believe that he was two characters. And so I was so excited just for the aspect of that. And then we got, you know, we get all the stuff that we get from Not Me, you know, and it was really, really interesting. But it was so funny because I feel like we chatted earlier in a different podcast about like cheese moments and stuff, and like
cheese moments,
cheesy moments.
Okay.
You know, cringe moments that bring the cringe, and you kind of get one of those in this trailer, and it's tied into the violent side of it too. Because is when we get Sean like sucker punching White.
Oh god, I love that scene so much.
I was gonna say, but I love that scene so much. Like, I love it for all sorts of reasons. I love it because they included it in the show, like when they're meant to be like the main pairing, and you know, it wasn't a thing where, you know, one character is hitting the other character because of, you know, for violence. It's like they were sparring, it happens, you know. And then I loved the way it was shot. I loved the trust that was involved in shooting this scene between the actors. And then I just loved like the whole sequence that happens after that scene, like all the interactions between Sean and White and Sean and Goompa, and like the whole thing. It's like comic gold. So Cass, you're gonna do the rewatch with us, yeah?
Yes, I will.
Cool. Then if you do the rewatch, I think you should do Let's Talk with us as well.
Okay. I'll see you in
14 episodes. 14 weeks. Yeah, that's right. Actually, no, it'll be longer than that because we're doing our special project too, don't forget.
Oh, yes. I'll see you in 30 weeks.
Oh my god, wow, that sounds like such a huge commitment.
And also, if our people get involved and are as excited as we are, like we could have more people on our Let's Talk.
We could have a panel.
We'll
I feel like lots of people have lots to say about this show. It will be interesting to see.
Yes. If you're ever listening to the podcast and you have strong thoughts about the episodes or the show, they're so nice, and you should send them voice messages and get involved. It's really easy, and you never know, one day you might be on a podcast as well.
Don't threaten people, Cass.
Yeah, she's so cute. We broke her. She's ours now. She doesn't realize it, but we've like Stockholm syndromed her.
So follow Cass on Tumblr. Cass. I'm at Cass in the Perth Trim Zone on Tumblr.
And I will put that in the show notes.
Thank you for joining us, Cass, on this trailer reaction.
It's been so fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you cry, but also like a good cry is catharsis, so that's good.
I just don't understand being like, he punched him in the face. It's so romantic. weird vibe.
It's so funny, like what some of these shows do to you. They completely realign your idea of like what's romantic and what's like sweet, and like inanimate objects are suddenly like you look at them and you see them and then you're crying or you're like super angry for like no reason. You can't explain to people in the real world why you're suddenly angry at that thing that's over there, because everyone would just put you in a straitjacket and lock you in a room by yourself. But we understand. You can come and talk to us about it.
Follow us on Tumblr, on Twitter, on Spotify, interact with us. Thank you for spending your time with us. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.